Hello, my name is Matthew Thomas, and I'm a journalist for TheThings, and I'm here with Peter Weber from Destination X. Thank you so much for joining me.
Hey, of course. Yeah. Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure.
So, after watching that finale, the first question I have to ask you is about that heartbreaking reaction you had when you realized you hadn't won. Like, how did you feel at that moment? Was it as terrible as it looked like on the show?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that is, obviously a lot of disappointment. Just coming up short, you get so close, like I think anything in life and then not quite get it. I think, maybe people can relate to that. It's not a fun feeling. I think it was helpful for me in that moment to truly have been close to the break, and it felt really good to feel really good for him, and that kind of helped cope, I guess, a little bit. Um, but yeah, disappointed. Obviously, I try to be a winner in everything I do, and if I come up short, it hurts.
Yeah, I mean, I could imagine. But like one of the parts that I found most fascinating by how you reacted to not winning was when you were talking about how you wanted to win the game for reasons other than just the money. Like, can you walk us through that a little bit?
Yeah, we listen, the money obviously would have been incredible, been able to do so much with that, but I truly mean it. It was way more than the money for me. It was just, I think just a sense of pride. I think, a sense of accomplishment, specifically with kind of the journey I'd been on up to that point with my experiences on some reality stuff. Never quite felt like I had, won, quote unquote, in certain in that word's different, obviously, in a love type show or a competition show, but never felt like I quite kind of got to the top of the mountain in that, and felt like this was when I got the offer for the show, and it was like, wow, this is a really cool opportunity. I get to travel, right in my wheelhouse. I think I can actually win this. Felt good about going into it, and I think, yeah, that was the main driving force for me, was just to do it and to finally get that W.
How did this show compare to your other reality show experiences?
Oh man, the most incredible thing that I have done by far. Just so epic in so many ways, so different, so unique. Traitors was so incredible for so many reasons, but this obviously having the game board of all throughout Europe, and I think we're kind of reflecting back on the whole experience. It was so cool to see, you know, in today's day and age, you don't get a chance ever to, be in your mid 30s and have a chance to disconnect, have no phone, no social media, no emails, notice nothing, and to be forced into this game board. And Jeffrey did a good job of talking about it at the end of the episode, because I felt it the whole time, to be able to be so present in a moment of being a little kid again and just playing a game with your friends, and it's being very competitive and for a great prize at the end. It's so you don't get to do that in everyday life, and Destination X offered that.
As somebody who watched you on the Traitors, I was actually really impressed by how you played Destination X because, obviously, I thought you were great on the Traitors as well. But the thing that really impressed me about how you played this is you seem to be really trusting your instincts throughout the entire thing. Like how you came in, immediately told people that you were going to be strategic, that you were going to hold back information, and you seem to really gauge how you were playing on how you connected with people. Like, do you feel like you are better positioned now in a reality show than you were before?
Yeah, I think a little bit of that experience probably naturally came from the traders. And for me, these kind of games that I've done, it really is, it's been just, I immerse myself. I don't know how to not do anything I do 100%, and I give it my all. And I don't know how to hold back a little bit. But for me, it's just purely business. It's just purely playing a game. And I'm able to kind of detach from it's not the personal. Like, I could be great friends with you right after the show, and we can, hang out and all that. But in the moment, like, I'm going to do everything I can to beat you. And that's just how I am, in life. And I think it's worked well for me in these games. So there's no reason to try to hide something, or, be discreet about something or hold something back. Like, I'm me, I'm going to play how I'm going to play. You can like it, you can hate it. Really don't care. I'm going to just do my best to win, and we can be friends after.
Do you feel like you took some of your experiences from the traders where there were some people who were pretty obviously upset with you during that, and that propelled you to be able to do that so much more in this game and trust your instincts throughout the entire season?
Yeah. Like specific people, um, I don't know. I guess maybe something like, an example with I remember Phaedra, on the Traders, we'd had some, heated moments, and she was just, eh, she was playing the game to play it, and was just, doing everything she could to win, and, got super heated in some moments and threw some jabs and everything. And I remember in the moment kind of almost taking them personally, but then after the fact, we got to make up at the reunion and everything. It was all good. We could brush it all under the rug, and it was just her playing her game to try to win. And I had to accept that. And maybe I took a little bit of that, just like that dog and that fierceness of, listen, like I'm not doing this to necessarily like make friends or impress people in any way. I'm just playing the game the best I know to win. And that's I think, yeah, honestly, I think there was a little bit of like Fader's gameplay that I kind of took into this, and just that fierceness, I think.
I could totally see that. Like getting back to Destination X, I one of the things that I thought you handled incredibly well was like joining the game late after walking in like that. How did you like? Were you intimidated going in there with all these people like eyeing you? Like, how did that feel at that moment?
Definitely, yeah, because in that moment we had seen Shane and I believe Ty earlier the day prior, but we didn't know we were joining this game so late. And so you get in, and it's kind of obvious that, oh wow, someone just left, and then now we're joining, and so they've been playing this for a little bit. There's definitely a lot of pressure there, and you're like, oh boy, this is the target. How do you kind of assimilate into this group and not kind of piss anyone off at this point? Because this is the wrong time to do that. Like, you don't have your bearings. Like, I think just kind of sit back and observe, I think, was my strategy. And I did that a lot, I think, throughout the game. That it benefited from that. And that was just, yeah, a time I didn't want to like be too loud or too obnoxious of a kind of a player or anything. Just wanted to settle in and assimilate and use my observations and my intuition and my gut to lead me to what kind of plays I wanted to start making in the future.
Were you amazed that you weren't targeted more after coming into a situation like that? Plus, being a reality show veteran.
Again, I think, because I definitely could have. I think that's a beautiful thing about the show, is that the show did not allow for that, because the nature of the show and how it's played, I'm a believer you needed someone to really get far in this game and win this ultimately at the end by yourself. But a great thing about this show, different to a lot of other shows, is it didn't really matter if you had a target on your back, because of the fact that you controlled your whole destiny the entire time. There was no version of voting out or being murdered or being banished. You were never going to leave the bus if you were always right, or if you were the closest. And so you always controlled your destiny. And I quickly realized that, how the game was being played. Like, it really doesn't matter if you have enemies in this or not. Because ultimately, if you're right and if you're better at something, you're going to stay, and no one can vote you out.
Yeah, I mean that's definitely true. But like, were you worried about being like targeted more, like being put in peril more, like having to go to the map room, or like there was like a few moments where people could literally just like point to somebody and be like, "Oh, you know what I mean?" Like, so, like, did that intimidate you?
It was definitely unsettling for sure, and I guess, a benefit to a lot of those, the tiebreakers. And again, that was just luck. I was all luck. I can't say I knew that stuff, but um, I remember noticing, like, I never actually, every single round I went to map break. Like, I never had a safe week, which was kind of wild. But you know what? Maybe that worked to my benefit, because it got me kind of good under pressure with stuff, and um, got to let me just play with the map a little bit more than everyone else, because that's the only time. And I did use, actually, I did work to my advantage, because I would know there were some places where I knew the location immediately, and we have like 2 minutes. And so I would actually use my whole time I knew where I was going to put my X, but I would go research the map and look at cities and names that I thought we would possibly go to next, and have that in my mind, and use that little bit of time to implant it and refresh my memory. And then I would always answer, I think, within like 5 seconds. Like, I was always right to the end, but I always knew where I was going for the most part before that.
That's actually awesome. Like that's great strategy. I mean, the one thing I absolutely have to ask you about was that challenge where you were one island away from being eliminated. Like that was incredible. Like when you realized how close you were to, like, how did that feel?
And that was the most intense moment of my life. I said that on the show, and I mean it. I remember just it was such a high. I felt so good. And I go to this moment of wow, where I get placed now at the back, right with Biggie, and the bell goes off, and now it's game over. We go to a tiebreaker, and I'm just like, just realizing, is this slipping away? I was right there. I had this, and now it just slipped away. And he asked this question, and then immediately I'm like, you're shitting me. I don't know the answer to this. I have no idea. And then I just, number 27 randomly pops into my head. Couldn't tell you why. And I put it down. Just, I have no idea. Here goes a guess. And then Biggie says his number, and it's 210. And I'm like, oh no, he must know something. Like, he's so opposite of me. Like, there's no way I won this. And then Jeffrey reveals, by one number, the person 118 by one number. And I'm so just in the moment, like adrenaline wise, I can't do the math in my head. I can't even focus on that. I'm like, who's closer? Which one's closer? And then he says me, and it was just the biggest sense of relief, and I just wanted to pass out. And then like Rick and I gave each other a big hug, and I got really emotional. Honestly, it was hard to contain the emotions after that.
I mean, I can imagine that like the adrenaline must have been pumping at that moment like something crazy. Thank you so much for joining me today. It was a real pleasure to get to talk to you, and I hope to see you on more shows in the future.
Thank you, man. Appreciate that.